Morning, everyone. Apologies for the delay in starting. We just had some technical issues, but I think they're all resolved. So hopefully we can flow through this now. So thanks for bearing with us. Welcome to today's webinar. What we're going to be discussing today is NowSignage and their cloud-based digital signage software platform. My name's Andy Byrne. I'm sales manager here at Distec. I'm joined by Tom Ross, who's commercial director at NowSignage. Morning, Tom.
Good morning, Andy. Thanks for having me again, mate.
No problem. So what I'll do, before we do get started on today's webinar, I'll just give you a quick overview of Distec and NowSignage's relationship. So a bit of background information. We started our relationship just over 12 months ago, and by doing so with NowSignage, we expanded our digital signage portfolio. So what we do now is we can offer customers a complete fit-for-purpose end-to-end solution, and what we do there is combine software and hardware. And what we'll do, so you can see the agenda on screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at who is NowSignage, how they make a difference, and how they do things differently to other signage companies on the market. Where and how is NowSignage deployed and how it can be purchased. And then what we'll do is we'll look at the Distec hardware compatibility as well. I think what you'll do is you'll see, it's going to be maximum of sort of 30 minutes or so. You can drop any questions into the chat box at the side of the webinar. And at the end, there'll be a full Q&A. What I'll do, I'll pass over to Tom, and he can take you through the webinar. Thanks, guys.
Thanks very much, Andy. Just to echo, thank you to everyone for dialing in this morning. I'm sure some of you may be familiar with us, and others might not. Others may have heard things about us, and I'm sure the guys at Distec have been talking. So hopefully this will give you guys a good overview of who we are as a business. And how we do things perhaps a little differently to the rest of the CMS market that's out there. We've been around quite a long time now, Signage, actually, although it's probably only the last 2 or 3 years that we've really gotten the traction and the scale in the market that's given us the brand that we enjoy today. But we were actually founded back in 2013, and we were a means to pull social feeds onto websites, and then we realized that was actually a really good signage product, and since then we've evolved into one of the world's leading CMS platforms. We now have about 4,000 registered users around the world in about 38 countries. We've had a lot of growth in the last 12 months. I think we've acquired about 1,500 end users. Some of those end users may have ones and twos, and others may have thousands of screens. So, for example, our largest single user is scheduled to have about 30,000 screens by the end of 2022. We work across the channel with our distribution partners such as Distec, and we also have a direct channel as well, our value-added resellers that have an option to buy direct from us or buy distribution, but that is all going to be merged into distribution before long. Our technology is completely owned by NowSignage, is all developed out of Manchester. With our own developers, we have complete 100% ownership of all of our IP. We don't outsource anything. All of our integrations, all of our technology that we develop is ours. So that means we don't ever have to charge additional fees for, say, social media integrations like a lot of providers do. And what that also means is we're generally first to market with lots of features and custom integrations. And one example of that would be our Microsoft Power BI integration. For those who want any more information on that, we're more than happy to share that with you, but that is a genuine world first piece of technology, and just an example of how NowSignage we very much punch above our weight when it comes to technology. So I have here a show reel which I'm about to play for you guys. It's only about 90 seconds long and it flies by reasonably quickly, so do please keep your eyes peeled, and hopefully this will give you a good flavour of who we are as a business. Okay, thank you very much for watching that. We are more than happy to share that with you in the post webinar pack or on the Distec website later on if anybody wants to get that. So I wanted to just take a few minutes here just to explain to you why we are viewed as particularly disruptive in this field over recent years. We made a decision around 3 years ago to do whatever the competition weren't doing, or rather to look at what they were doing and just do everything completely differently. And what we noticed in the market was a lot of CMS were quite expensive, very difficult to use, difficult to purchase. There were lots of optional extras. We've just done something which seems obvious, which is make it, very low cost, very high margins, very easy to use, very easy to purchase, all the things that software should be. So we are a genuine software as a service, and we can be turned on and off as necessary. We can be used. We're completely self-serve platform, for example. But I picked out five or six things that are of particular interest. So the first one, most affordable. So despite having, one of the richest feature sets in the industry, we are probably one of the most affordable CMSs on the market to both end user and to resellers. And that's despite carrying the best margins in the industry. And we'll come on to those margins a little bit later on. We are a super secure platform. We work towards ISO 27001 protocols, and we're hoping to achieve full accreditation later this year. We do have lots and lots of security documentation and some of that more dry, boring stuff. If anybody wants any of that, again, we're more than happy to get that across to you. Number 3 is something that every CMS says, but probably 1 in 100 actually deliver upon. We are genuinely the easiest to use CMS on the market, and I can say that with quite a bit of confidence because I've seen them all. Our commitment to any end user, regardless of size or scale, is that they can be completely proficient on NowSignage within just 30 minutes. So what that does is it has completely removed the fear of moving from another supplier. We've often found the biggest barrier to sale is purely that fear of moving, because people often get institutionalized, if you like, in these big enterprise systems. We've made ours very, very simple to really pared back platform. It still has all the features that you would expect, but it's super simple to use. Now, that can't be understated enough, or overstated enough, rather. So then we have a few more points. The fourth one is something we're extremely proud of. We are the world's first and only completely agnostic CMS through a single code base. Now, what that means is whichever hardware Distec provide, we will work on, and we're going to talk about a little bit of that later on. But what that also means is we are a very lean business in terms of our technology stack that we bring to market. We have a single code base that everybody has, much like your smartphone. Everybody gets the same features for the same price. We're very big on custom integrations. We've just won some awards for our integrations in the last 12 months. We are not a commoditized product, and what I mean by that is if there are particular requirements or features that you would like to see from a CMS that we currently don't do, come to us. You can speak to the directors of the business, and we'll put it on our roadmap, and we'll probably develop that feature if it's of commercial value to everybody. Again, the last one, support, is something that businesses like to shout about but often don't deliver upon. We are hugely proud of our support over here at NowSignage. We have a 24/7 ticketing system for those international clients, and we have basically between the hours of 8 and 8 p.m. you can ring up and speak to a dedicated account manager, or even to the directors of the business, no problem at all. This slide is just a little bit of humble bragging, really, but hopefully does give some comfort that we're a credible outfit. For those of you who aren't aware of us, so we were triple nominated for the AV Awards back in November, and we actually won Digital Signage Technology of the Year for one of our capacity management products. We finished runner-up for our Microsoft Power BI integration, and we finished runner-up in the AV and Action Awards. So that was just a nice bit of recognition from our peers across the industry, which is always nice. In terms of the feature set that we have, I have pulled out here around 20 of what you might call our headline features. Now, the key thing to note about these is if I was to show you this slide probably 2 or 3 months ago, there would be some things missing. So for example, number 14, proof of play. The digital out of home market has seen, you know, some strong financial performances over the last year despite COVID. As a consequence of that, we've rolled out proof of play to that market, which has been hugely successful. Unlike other providers, when you utilize our proof of play, your cost does not increase, whereas with other providers it can actually double or more the cost of your license. We've got multi-zone as well, number 5, which came in just a few months ago. Our multi-zone is done a little bit differently to other providers in that it's not tied to a particular screen, it's tied to what we call a schedule. And what that means is you can switch between single screen and multi-zone throughout the day, rather than have a screen completely tied to being, say, a multi-zone screen. Hope that makes sense. We can talk a little bit more about that later. Number 16, screen synchronization is going to be a big feature for us in the QSR market, quick serve restaurants and so on. So the point I'm making is we're rolling out these big headline features into the platform all of the time. So you're getting more and more value out of your subscription. However, the cost never goes up. So I now have just a couple of small videos here just to show you what some of those things look like. One of the things we're very proud of is our social media integrations. Again, I can say with absolute confidence that we have the best social media integrations on the market. That's how our business was established back in 2013. So we're probably several years ahead of the curve. You can integrate Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and we're also looking at the moment at TikTok, believe it or not, as well. So I'm just going to show you what those social media templates look like, just very briefly. So as you can see, this is our own social media template that pulls through live tweets onto our screens in our offices. These are fully customizable. They can be, there's a sort of a diluted Photoshop within there. You can match your Pantones and all of your branding and so on. Then we also have our multi-zone feature here I'm about to show you. So you can actually show 4. So you could even show 4 4K videos in our multi-zone. It would give you a bit of a headache, so nobody tends to do that. But you can see there it's just transitioned from multi-zone to single screen weather. But a very common use case of that is, for example, as you can see on the screen, just revert back to the presentation. So we've had a look at our feature set, we've had a look at some of the USPs. Some of the sectors that we work within are probably fairly obvious. These are probably loosely in some kind of reasonable order for us as well, actually. Retail used to be perhaps 60 to 70% of our business. We've now reduced that down to probably 15 to 20%, but kept the same market share, and just tried to diversify and push out into other vertical areas. What we do have within all of these, and on our website, if you do visit our nice new website over there, there's lots and lots of content that relates to all of these verticals, with case studies, with testimonials, and with some good marketing collateral that you guys can pull out if you need help with any end users in terms of helping them understand the sort of markets that we work within. And if you go to our website and go to the sectors page, there are downloadable PDFs for every single one of these vertical markets. So I've just picked out 5 or 6 of these key verticals. I thought it might be worth noting just some of the businesses that we work within these spaces. So for example, in the retail world, we work with Spar over in Ireland, we work with Lavazza globally, we work with Decathlon, rolling out a lot of new stores around Europe at the moment. In the industrial world, we've had a lot of traction with our Microsoft Power BI product. We work with a lot of logistics centers, and we also work with JCB. We power the world's largest 4K screen for them. We work with Pladis, who are the owners of McVitie's Biscuits, and we work with the likes of Nestle. Hospitality is a huge growth area for us. We would probably incorporate quick serve restaurants within hospitality. That's a very big growth area for us at the moment. We power the Domino's network around the UK. Wingstop are a huge American business that are rolling out across the UK at the moment, and we're looking at working with them on both sides of the Atlantic. Doubletree, Hilton, and so on. Education, we have a very good story to tell across education. We work with, I believe, around 15 of the major universities around the country at the moment, including University of Oxford, University of Exeter. We power all the screens at the SAID Business School within the University of Oxford. And we also work with University College Dublin and Ulster Uni and several others as well. And again, we have case studies for all of those if anybody is interested. Healthcare has been a very big growth area for us over the last 12 months for obvious reasons. I think we've rolled out into 5 or 6 NHS trusts. We power all the screens at the largest cancer hospital at the Clatterbridge over in Merseyside. And we also work with lots of sort of charities that sit within healthcare as well. Corporate is a huge market for us and one of the fastest growing markets, particularly now lockdown is hopefully showing some signs of green shoots and people are getting back into offices and so on. That and combined with our multi-zone, our social media integrations and our Microsoft Power BI integrations, we're making some huge traction within the corporate world at the moment. And that's just some of the businesses that we work with in that space there. So I'm now going to move on to some of the more commercial stuff in terms of price points and so on, and hardware compatibility. So as I've said already, we are the world's first and only genuinely agnostic CMS via a single code base. Now, just to give that some context, what that means is, unlike the competition who may have to have, say, a stack of technology and a group of developers that focus on, say, Android, and then another stack of technology and a developer that focuses on Windows build, for example, we just have a single code base, just like Facebook or the leading software platforms out there that just work on any device. So as I said earlier, that means we just have a single stack of technology. It means we can make changes to the platform very quickly, and it means we can roll out the platform to end users at a very low cost, but with very high margins. But most importantly of all, what it means is you can buy with 100% confidence that whatever hardware is being purchased by our partners like Distec, NowSignage will just work, which is frankly the minimum expectation you would hope. So I'm going to pass you over to Andy now. We're going to talk about some of those hardware partners that are NowSignage approved, and how they can be purchased.
Thanks for that, Tom. Thank you very much. Yeah, as mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, when we sort of partnered up with NowSignage, it completed our offering of having a software and hardware and complete solution to go to market with. And so within that hardware offerings, we work with leading suppliers, leading worldwide suppliers. And if what we'll do, we'll just sort of showcase a couple of those on the next couple of slides. So we're a Vestel partner. They offer a large range of large format displays, looking at the anything from 32, 43 inch up to 98 inch. We can offer professional high bright displays 24/7 and 16/7, and that includes their new Q series as well, which offer a slimline design, which can be incorporated into video walls and other features. If you look at it, similar to how NowSignage is used in multiple industries, so can the Vestel displays, which sort of fits in perfectly for us. So we can use them in manufacturing, commercial, healthcare, retail, etc. So as well as displays, we've got a range of PC solutions, and again, fitting in with the NowSignage factor of being sort of agnostic against different systems. We've got Chrome-based solutions from AOpen. So AOpen offer the only commercial grade Chrome product on the market. One of these featured ones is the Chromebox Mini. That's been tested on NowSignage and tested against their software. So what you get with this is 24/7 use up to 40 degrees temperature. So we've got a tough and a tamper-proof design there, so we can use again in those different environments, and we can put this in and trust and know that it's going to work and function for a number of years. And there are other features, as you can see on screen, including the dual band antenna for wide reach Wi-Fi. We've got the small form factor suitability as well. And then we also have the Advantech player as well. So this is an Android unit. So alternative to the last one, this is the Android system. available in Android 6 or 8.1. It's got a quad-core processor, comes on board with 2 gig RAM and 16 gig eMMC storage. But what you get with this, sort of different from other Android players on the market, is you've got dual HDMI outputs, so we can power a couple of screens using with this, and then obviously displaying the content with the NowSignage software pack. So both of these hardware units, they have been tested and approved, and you would find them on the NowSignage approved hardware list. But if you do need any other details on the hardware, or, anything from a complete solution, you can let us know. So what I'll do, I'll pass you back to Tom, and he can sort of look over the pricing structure and sort of how things are sort of on that side of things with NowSignage. Cheers.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, so it's probably worth noting in terms of compatibility on Android, which was across all of those partners. So Vestel, AOpen, and Advantech are all long-standing mutual partners of both NowSignage and Distec. We will work on any Android device from those manufacturers that's 5.1 and upwards, so their specs should be more than capable of supporting all of our features without any compromise. I've put this slide in here just to reiterate the fact that all features are available out of the box with NowSignage. We made a decision a couple of years back to never ever charge for any premium feature. We would just roll them out into the platform for the benefit of all of our users. So as I've already highlighted earlier, when I've showed you some of those features, they all come completely out of the box and at no extra cost. In terms of the pricing and the margins available, in terms of a reseller price, you're probably talking somewhere around the £10 per month per screen. The margins typically around 40 to 50% in terms of passing on to an end user. We do have some rate cards and some guidance for anybody who wants that. We don't publish that anywhere. We have a sort of guide end user price on our website, but that's as far as we ever go in terms of publishing prices. It's not for us to dictate to our partners what your pricing is, but we are always available and on hand to give you a guide and to give you some precedents, for example, on projects of similar size and scales in the past. So Andy has kindly put a bit of a summary in here. So I'm going to hand over to him now just to discuss to wrap up the webinar. I'm on hand at any time for anybody. If you've got any questions, do please visit our website to download additional documentation like the sector guides and so on. And yeah, you just give me a call. If you reach out to Andy, you can pass you my mobile number if anybody wants a full one-to-one demo.
Thanks, Tom. Right, as you can see, what we wanted to do was just sort of summarise what Tom's shown us sort of throughout this webinar. And so what we wanted to look at was, summarise these into a few points, and sort of one of these which isn't actually mentioned, that is it's NowSignage is a trusted signage platform, and it's used by over 4,000 end users across 44 countries now. So we've got that use case and trustability in that package. But what we can do, like you can see, we've got the cloud-based digital signage software that enables you to display content where it matters, and as you can see, when we say where it matters, that's across a variety of market industries, from healthcare at the moment, obviously critical applications like that, into manufacturing, into retail, and sort of used across the board there. As Tom mentioned, it's the world's first digital signage CMS platform to be hardware agnostic. As we touched on, we have the Android, the Chrome, and we also have Windows OS systems as well. But there is obviously other platforms, iOS, etc., and it's not agnostic against that as well. They have a variety of API integrations. So we've got the Microsoft Power BI, the Google Maps, the weather features, social media platforms, IPTV, and all that is featured out of the box in the pricing structure there as well. So there's a variety of features that are at your fingertips really once you get going with this NowSignage software. And sort of as we mentioned then, and we touched on in that, it's affordable. There's margins there for everyone, but it's something that's very cost competitive, and we're very proud of that, and very proud of the fact that we've got these features out of the box without having to have these add-on costs that you see with maybe other CMS platforms on the market. And with that sort of cost competitiveness comes an easy to use functionality. So what we can do, as Tom mentioned, if it's something you're looking to sort of progress with or want to know more about, we can get a one-to-one set up, and what we can actually do then is sort of run through the NowSignage software platform, show you how easy it is to use, show you how we can set up schedules, design screens, etc., and sort of push them out onto the displays out there. I think we have had a couple of questions, so what I'll do, I'll sort of read these out, and I think Tom can assist with the answering of them. So I think the first one was sort of around the proof of play, and obviously you mentioned that was a new feature, and sort of compared to others on the market, how much is that, and how does it work really?
Yeah, so the proof of play obviously allows the monitoring of all assets that pass through the platform, and you can pull off customizable reports as to how long a particular asset has been displayed on any particular screen in any given location. All of the assets can be tagged against either brands, locations, people, products, whatever that might be, and then you can very quickly and easily start to sort of siphon off that information with a fully customizable back-end reporting. I said earlier on as well, so the key difference here is with most CMS providers, that would generally at least double the cost of a CMS license. We've developed this really advanced piece of technology at our own cost, and we've rolled it out into the platform, all wrapped up within the license cost. The digital out-of-home space is becoming more and more important to us as a business, so we've taken a choice to never make an additional charge for that feature.
Thank you very much. We've got another one here for you, Tom. When will NowSignage support a touchscreen?
Okay, NowSignage already supports touchscreen out of the box in terms of on Android. In terms of other technologies, we have it's all in the roadmap for this year. If there's a particular piece of hardware that you want us to test it on, just let us know and we'll get that done for you. But out of the box on several of the operating systems, touch is already enabled.
Cool.
That's very important actually. For example, our Power BI integration is being used in a lot of boardrooms on touch panels, because those reports are completely interactive. So you can actually zoom in, you can tap on people, you can tap on places, and you can actually interact with those reports on screens via touchscreen.
Cool. Thank you very much. And then I think we've got a final one, is what type of media types can you play through your multi-zone?
So you are reasonably unrestricted. So all the usual JPEGs, MP4s, PNG files, all that sort of stuff are obviously standard. But there are 4 zones available. So a background zone and 3 zones on top of that. Now, if you wanted, you could play 4 HD videos onto all 4 zones. Now, that would give you quite the headache. You probably wouldn't want to do that. But it is available to do that, and then that sets us aside from a lot of other providers just in terms of the power that's available through it. The zones are all completely customizable as well, so we provide you with some set templates. We're all familiar with what those templates look like in reception areas. They tend to have a 3-way split with a tick along the bottom and 2 panels above, but they can be completely customizable. You can make them any dimensions that you want through the build.
Cool. Right, thank you very much. I don't think we have any more questions there. So thanks for answering those, Tom. But like I say, if anyone does have any questions at a later date, you can drop them through to us, and we can sort of touch base back and sort of answer any queries. Basically, thank you for all attending. Hope you enjoyed today's webinar. If you'd like to, you can contact Distec, and I think our details should be up on the slide deck in a second. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, if you do want to find out more, you can contact us. You can see we've got our email address there, we've got our website, we've got our telephone number. Like I said, my name's Andy Byrne, I'm sales manager here, so you can sort of direct anything to myself, and we can sort of liaise with Tom and his colleagues at NowSignage, and arrange any follow-up to this that's needed, any demos, any live demos, etc. And we can go from there. Right, thank you very much for everyone for attending. Have a nice day.
Thanks, Andy. Take care. Bye-bye.
Cheers, Tom. Thanks.